All right, we are back. For those folks who watch us on a regular basis and we're eagle-eyed, you could tell the last four videos we put out were just videos we made in succession in one sitting because Ahmed went on a well-deserved break.
Yeah, I had a bachelor weekend for my wedding. I had a pre-wedding trip to Jamaica with my fiance, and I got the
Nice.
flu, so it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well planned. Well done, man. Well
well
done.
done. I partied so hard, I got the flu. So
You wanted to get your vacation and your illness all in one
bang
time.
it out,
It
bang it
was
out. What
you're
better
just really
time?
efficient.
To be honest, because I like to work so much. It's honestly was the ideal time
It was the best
to
planning. Way to
have the
go.
sickness so that I
Way to
wouldn't
go.
be sick this week.
That's good. And we'll just hope your fiance doesn't watch this video so she doesn't think that. But we're going to start with Cory Booker because it was all good vibes. And there's not a lot of good stuff to celebrate right now. But Cory Booker, actually, there's a lot of good stuff to celebrate. There is. But Cory Booker is probably the biggest kind of like heartstrings thing. I want to admit something first as we kick this off. I didn't like him before this. I was not, I mean, as a human being, I think he's probably a good dude. I didn't have a problem with him personally. I just didn't buy him as a politician. I
Yeah.
thought it was, I thought it was contrived. I felt like he was performing. All right. I felt like he was saying a lot of stuff that like the liberal elite wanted to hear, the donors wanted to hear. And he kind of felt corny to me, man, to be honest. That was my take on him.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say some people that's what they deem him as corny, but I
yeah.
will say like I guess this was kind of
Yeah.
he lives that life, man, and
Man,
and
look,
and
look,
and and
25 hours, okay? It's not fake
yeah,
after
and and
20
and
at
yeah,
25.
exactly. And one of the reasons why like I did at times feel some like the I am Spartacus thing was kind of corny, and some of the other stuff he's done is a little bit corny,
Yeah.
and but like I remember I followed him in his initial Newark run,
Oh yeah.
because it was like yeah, and it was like.
Oh yeah.
He like did all these he like lived on food stamps for a period, like he like went and like lived in like the trenches, and I was
He lived in a project.
yeah,
The
he lived in a project, and I
yeah.
was and and again, like stuff could still feel performative, but it kind of shows like even if it might be performative or whatever it is, homeboy's got that endurance
He
muscle,
does.
and
He does.
he deployed it in a way. He's also single too, because like I feel like us with our spouses, we wouldn't be able to come, get away with
No,
doing some of the
we'd
stuff
be
he
in
does.
trouble.
Like, I'm like, oh, by the way, babe, I'm gonna go live in a project for 2 months, while I'm
And
running
live
for
off of food
mayor,
stamps. I know.
So
I
like,
know. And I got
but
kids, man. There's no way I'd be like, all right, guys. Okay, here's what we're doing.
yeah, so like
So yeah,
it works
initially you're
out.
right. In the beginning, he was this like all-star young dude. He was a football player, and he goes and he like he puts himself out there and he does these amazing things. And then he becomes like this milk toast um senator and he's redeemed himself completely.
This
Again,
was incredible. Yeah, it
after
was an
25
amazing.
hours, like there's no faking. He believes everything. He did this marathon speech where he didn't read green eggs and ham. He didn't read from the dictionary. He didn't have any filler. He didn't tell jokes. He was lucid throughout and passionate throughout. He brought real people's issues to the forefront. He constantly hit Trump and Elon over and over and over again. And he went on the attack for an entire day in a way that convinced people like me, skeptics of who he was, but also brought to the forefront all of these talking points.
Yeah, and that's the power of it. If you could convince a skeptic like you, and how many regular voters saw, like I saw everyone, all the comments. He was going so hyper viral on TikTok. We can get to that in a second, but just basically people's minds were changed and
Mhm.
about him and about Democrats' ability to fight. And he really lives that life. Like to stand up there for 25 hours, he apparently stopped eating on Friday, according to
That's
him.
right.
He dehydrated himself starting Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
so he didn't have to use the bathroom. My whole thought was maybe he's wearing a diaper, which is what maybe I would have done, right? Just in case. You never know.
I mean,
But homeboy went away without a diaper, and
yeah,
then spoke like you said. It wasn't just He spoke coherently, and that's how you know
Yeah.
that for me was when I was like, okay, this guy's real deal. Like it's
Yeah.
not you can't perform. Like you have to actually know the issues to
Yeah.
go up there and then speak the way he spoke for that long. So I'm like, okay, this guy does his homework. He knows his stuff. He lives and breathes these issues. He's crying, reading constituent
Yeah.
letters. Like and that made me think, oh, so that brand of optimism, it wasn't fake.
Right.
And that maybe could be what the moment needs.
I know that's what I actually started to reevaluate my own read on where we should head because there is something he like pulled us back. He pulled us back from moving towards them and doing what they do. You know, it was like we need to be like Trump. We need to be more transactional. We need to care less. We need to, all these things. And some of it also comes from we just got our asses handed to us in November. We're kind of raw. We're kind of feeling edgy, and so it's just going to come through. And he kind of pulled us back from that. So I want to transition to a couple of things. One, I mean, you were talking about this the whole time on social media about his reach, but all that to say that you said you think this was his Obama moment.
This felt like an Obama '04 moment.
Yeah, okay, and this is the first time I thought about it like this.
Like because in '04, that speech everyone saw, and he
Hmm.
immediately became famous. In
Yeah.
this internet age, we
We're
talk
not
about
we're
this.
not red states or blue
Yeah,
states. We're the United
exactly.
States of America.
And Cory Booker said it's not left or right, it's right or wrong.
It's
Like there
right
was
or wrong.
similar echoes to it. And
Hmm.
also it's just the way it broke through. So it's comparable in substance and comparable in impact. In
Yeah.
2004, everyone saw that speech. Obama instantly famous among people who pay attention to politics, and
Hmm.
even some who didn't. And then he started making show host rounds and people speculating about him running for office.
Yeah.
Cory
Yeah.
Booker, this was an internet, this was a moment that I have never seen where a live thing broke through the entire internet at once.
Yeah.
And and he instantly rose. The second I saw him, I like tweeted it while it was going on. I was like, he is gonna walk when he walks off that uh that podium, when he walks away from it, he's gonna be in a significantly more prominent position than the moment he walked on to that Senate floor. And it was.
When did you notice that it was different?
When I woke up the next morning
Okay. Same.
and then I saw just the groundswell, because the thing is the TikTok generation was shook by, like, it's just to stand, because as a human we can all relate to, none of us could last that, could be doing that, right? Like
Right. Right.
we would be straining. And for him to be doing it so coherently, the next morning I woke up, there was a shift. He's trending everywhere, number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially heading towards the afternoon. I'm on TikTok. I'll pull this up now so people can see.
Yeah. That's good.
He this was like closer to this is like maybe 4 p.m. ish, and
4 p.m. Eastern.
4
Yep.
p.m. Eastern. He's live streaming on TikTok. He's There were 70K people watching concurrently, and there was also 70K watching the YouTube live stream. And then like every other live stream, there's basically hundreds of thousands, if not millions, watching him live. There was
Yeah.
200 and at this time 200 million likes, and then by the end of it, it was 400 million likes. There was hundreds, if not thousands, of videos being sent, and I saw of clips of him, of people talking about him, young people saying like, "This is so inspiring." Not a single negative
Hmm.
comment, millions of views. Instantly, he became. If you were to poll right now, Frank Luntz
Yeah.
did a Twitter poll, who you think should be Senate minority leader? It's Cory
It's him.
Booker.
It's him.
If you were to
So
poll presidential polls,
his name is in there now. His name was
his
never
name
in
would
there
be.
before. So here's the thing about this. And this is I get asked all the time, like, what are young people doing? Where are young people? And there's uh it's like if the older folks don't see them in the streets, then they're not doing anything. And this moment here, one, it blows out things like the Super Bowl, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But I think that America, when it comes to like views, they're used to this like passive involvement thing, right? So like when you're watching the news or like Nielsen polls or
mhm.
those kinds of things, those are just like one way things. But what you're talking about is people who they're watching this across the internet on multiple platforms. They're over indexing as young people, and then they're actively doing stuff with it. So they're liking this live on TikTok, which is this platform that younger people use for news more often. And then they're like taking his clips. They're like clipping this the segments that they like, they're sharing them, they're making comments on it. And a 24-hour, 25-hour cycle, like they have taken clips from earlier and they're making stuff and they're remixing it and making it their own. Like this is one, it's a social media moment. But it's this surpasses actually, anything on television,
Hmm.
Ted Cruz when he did his filibuster, it
Yeah,
surpasses those moments because it's an interactive moment that engages young people in a way that goes beyond just actual viewership. And I need the older generation to see this, not just for the way that the news covered it, but for how the younger generations took it and made it their own.
exactly. And his staff was being so brilliant about it that he pre-recorded videos that was sent out on TikTok and on social media while he was on there. So he
Did
would
he
basically,
really? I didn't know that.
so he was on there speaking, and then at like the 13-hour mark, he sent out a post, and he was like, "I've been now speaking for 13 hours. I've
Get
recorded
out
this
of
before."
here. Are you
No, yeah, he was like,
serious?
"I've recorded." He's like, "I'm speaking right now. I recorded this before, and I want you
Get
guys to."
out of
It
here.
was
Okay,
unbelievable
so
the
so
level of
that's the other
strategy
part
these
about
people
this.
had.
That's the other part about this is that people talk about virality online as if it's like magic, as if like Mother Nature chooses, or like the universe or God chooses and
Yeah,
anoints
yeah,
somebody, and it's just this organic thing. But when civil rights movement all the way to this, there is a lot of planning and thought put into these things
yeah.
prior to them coming to your attention. Him going live on all platforms is planned. These videos
Mhm.
you're talking about that were put out there, these are planned. The involvement of other senators to give him breaks and then to amplify what he's doing on
Yep.
socials is also planned. Like, and there are probably other I don't know what Pod Save did. I don't know what other podcasts did, but I would have communicating to them in advance and tell them this is coming. And this is not something that I don't remember hearing about this before he started, actually.
Yeah, I saw him post the video at like night right before he started, like
Yeah.
around 7 p.m. And then he just got up there,
And then he
started
got
doing
up there
it.
and did it. So
And
it was
then
like
like
it
the
was a
eight
drop.
and then once he started going viral, it became a thing where now you're going viral talking about it. I sent multiple viral tweets talking about it, and then it incentivizes other creators to
Yeah.
talk about you, right? So it self-perpetuates. The AP started directly live
Yeah.
streaming it on YouTube and
So
all their platforms. So
so I want to highlight this. Like maybe we haven't given the Democrats enough credit. This took a lot of planning and coordination, and it was Cory and his staff, but it was also other other elected officials. And
Chris
so,
Murphy was out
oh
there, was
yeah,
with him was actually with him the whole
so
24 hours.
that's right because he stood with Chris during his 15-hour. So
Exactly.
maybe there's it's not just Chuck Schumer as representative of the senators. I think Chris Murphy, who on his own has been doing a lot of great things. Chris Murphy, Cory Booker, these guys represent the new generation of leaders, a new generation in terms of age and thinking and tactics around how to reach people. And this is we should lean into this. We should lean into it.
We really should. And one other thing angle I have to touch on here, just
Mm,
why it was so powerful, is because of the things that people, think previously may have thought that were corny about him, shined through in a way because he not only was this intentionally incredible, he beat Strom Thurmond's
yeah.
55 filibuster record, as we know, the 24 hours, 18 minutes. So he not only people like I saw one headline that was like Cory Booker topples Confederate monument, which I thought was really cool.
Cool.
But so there's that angle, but the rhetoric, he was honoring John Lewis. It was like a classic nonviolent, like it felt like the stuff, we were
Yeah.
in Selma a few weeks ago. It felt like a classic civil rights era protest
Yeah.
with just nothing. There was no hatred in his voice. When he spoke about, he kept talking up, like trying to make it, you know, reach out to the other side of the aisle and
He did.
talking
Yeah.
about
He mentioned other
Americans
senators. Yeah. On the
and
other
he
side.
and it was just one of those moments that pull. And I saw Lisa Murkowski sent a tweet congratulating him, a
Mm,
Republican. Like it just was a moment of humanity that I think there's a reason why it resonated so powerfully because people we needed to see this, and it happened to come on the day. Which, if you're watching this, go to the other video we're gonna make on. It happened to come the day Democrats went buck wild in Wisconsin and won, and
yeah.
then made some major gains in Florida. So it was a culmination, a turning point day,
Yeah.
Tuesday this week.
So So on that point about the historic thing, he's wearing a black suit and black tie.
Yep.
And that is that's honoring civil rights leaders. The other piece I want to point out on the nature of what you're talking about with him is that there's something that is very similar to the other senator out of New Jersey in terms of the heart that they've got,
Yeah.
right? It comes from this very real, raw place, Andy Kim,
Yeah.
and this authentic place where they're very much about people coming together. They're representative of working class. It's an interesting juxtaposition to New York. And no shade to your state, man, but Chuck Schumer isn't doing you any favors right now.
Yeah.
And frankly, you know, in the House, he's playing catch up. Jeffries is playing catch up a little bit, and he's doing his best. But he's the people who are out in front as individuals and thinkers in the Senate about us coming together. It's a softer touch. It is more about love. To your point, it's more taking on a bunch of the themes of the civil rights movement. It's Cory Booker and Andy Kim, and I want to end with Common Powers going to New Jersey. We feel New Jersey is this blue state. It's not on anyone's strategic map, but we've always felt this connection, actually a pull from New Jersey. People have reached out to us asking us to come and help in elections in New Jersey in the past, and we've deprioritized that a little bit. But we're going to show up for the New Jersey primary. It's a blue state, so the primary is the thing that determines who the leaders are in that state. So we're going to be there for the primary in June. The signups for that are going to roll out this week, actually. If you're wondering what comes after April 1st, it is a push into New Jersey. Shout out to Cory Booker. Shout out to Andy Kim. Yeah, good stuff, America. Way to go.